Welcome, Taurus, to your Chiron into Taurus 50-year return, 3-month forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. On June the 19th through to September the 18th, Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, is in your zodiac sign for the first time since 1984. The last time he entered your sign for the start of the cycle was 1977. So it's a really big moment. Now, you may not have Chiron in Taurus in your natal chart, but this will have an impact collectively. And by the end of the video, in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances, a clearer picture of what's upcoming for you. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So Chiron, the myth of Chiron is he was the trainer of the gods. Whether it was in combat, whether it was about herbs or astrology, his knowledge was profound. But then he sustained that wound that would never heal. And some people do believe that we can never overcome Chiron's influence on us in that more wounding way. We can think about Chiron in terms of our physical health, but I think its impact is mainly in a more psychological way. Somehow or another, Chiron in our natal chart can be our superpower, and particularly dependent on what house it's in, but it can also be where we never feel heard, seen, or appreciated. So what will it mean being in your zodiac sign? Well, first of all, we need to think about what it's been like being in Aries. So for the last 7 years, since February 2019, the chances are you've done a lot of deep work, particularly in the psychological side of the situation. But that same period, Uranus, the planet of change, was shaking things up in terms of your immediate self. So you've had to almost go between the two principles. Things were changing, how you manifested your individuality to the world, but also you were asked to dive deep and release what was perhaps in the past, was more to do with vulnerabilities, was to do with things that haven't worked out well. So the great news for you is Chiron is moving into your sector of self. So over these next 3 months, it's a great opportunity to really work on self-belief, your identity, what makes you uniquely brilliant. And as ever, the natal chart at the exact moment that the planet, or in this case, the comet, gets back to that point, tells us a lot about what we can expect. And the great news for you personally is that Chiron forges a stunning link to the North Node and the South Node. Now, the South Node also has the moon in it, and there's a trine. So that already is bringing about an ease, because trines create ease. And in terms of that earth energy, it's also about being practical and pragmatic. Well, you're fine with that. That South Node could be some of the things that over the last near to 18 months you've retreated into, perhaps in terms of going out and having fun and being a bit indulgent. The North Node, very much to do with being in touch with your psychological purpose as far as your future and your connections. But they're very supportive of Chiron, so that helps to nurture what you need to do. Also, you have Mars, the planet which is very much to do with the first house and identity, in residency as Chiron arrives. That's enormous good fortune. And Mars is forging a stunning link to Jupiter, the planet of expansion, but also Mercury, the planet of thought. And they're both in your third house of ideas. So you could gain a lot of extra information about how to deal with Chiron. For me, Chiron in the first house in Taurus is about self-worth and value for sure, but it's also having the confidence to embrace that more Uranian energy that's just left, about just doing what really makes you happy as an individual and not doing the things that you feel you should be doing. Now, your sign can obviously be about security, finances, possessions. and the stability in life. But Chiron kind of encourages you to have a bit more faith, to step outside an innate desire for those, and most of all, think about your personal value, because that's what the sign of Taurus is about. How can you express your individual talent and convert that to a greater sense of your personal value? What an opportunity. What else is going on? Well, Uranus, the planet which caused that disruption in recent years, but also pushed you to do some new things in a very bright and vibrant way, that is ironically in a square with the moon. So one of the things I would say is don't be too free and easy with your resources over the next 3 months around any kind of healing kick. So if you read about retreats or you read about places that you go to recharge, and they may have value, but I wouldn't be too quick to part with your pennies. Think about what you can do in a very practical way for yourself. But also, if you can build up your physical well-being and strengthen yourself, that's obviously going to be a positive thing to do. And the great news is the sun is in nearly a sextile to Chiron. It is, in a technical term, a dissociate sextile, but it will, from the 21st of June, become exact. And that's a great chance for you to just get a bit more active, move around more, work on that vitality. Now, of course, you do have Saturn and Neptune still in the sign of Aries. So over the next couple of years, there may be times when you do feel a little weary or perhaps even doubt what you're doing. Your self-belief and confidence can be affected by them. I think that is a fact. However, just work on what you can do in a practical, functional way to help yourself in the here and now. And the biggest stroke of luck you have is definitely that Mars is in your sign, the planet which is very much about identity, and forging a wonderful link to Jupiter, which in itself can really rev you up. Now, I'm going to summarize those 4 areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next, Taurus. But just to say, you can download your free Chiron factoid. It's going to have Chiron in all the different zodiac signs, all the different houses. Going to tell you about the mythology in detail, and also a little bit about the astrological context. And you can also order now your personal horoscope and get 3 for the price of 1. If you don't know where your Chiron is natally, that will tell you. So what you get free is your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis, which helps us to look at astrology, life, and ourselves in a different and profound way. But the report you pay for is your life roadmap. That helps us to understand the patterns that play out in our lives, get a more intimate understanding of what those are and how to work with them. Please see below for more. Now, if you've yet to watch your June moon magic forecast, that's on the screen, breaks down the month from a lunar perspective. And if you've yet to watch your June overall forecast, that's on the screen too. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope, fire to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, you can do so below too as well. So, energy. I thought your energy can improve. Having Chiron, Saturn, and Neptune recently in the 12th house, and for much of, well, some of last year, 6 months with Neptune, just over 3 months with Saturn, wasn't easy. You've probably felt at times bereft of vitality. You get a chance now to do something about it. But one of the interesting things about your growth in terms of your energy, it can be psychological as well as physical. But if you are wanting to focus on strengthening your stamina and just feeling stronger to deal with the demands and stresses and strains of life, this 3 months is a wonderful window of opportunity to do so. But do know it's okay to occasionally think, no, I'm not going for that run this morning. I often see people running around looking at their watches. They've got their water pack on their back. Got great respect for them. But when I used to run, it's just enjoy it. You know, enjoy being in nature, hearing the sounds of the birds, the wind going through your hair, feeling free psychologically. And I feel that you can feel freer with Chiron moving into your sign. So your energy can definitely improve. Professionally, well, you still have Pluto right at the top of your chart, Taurus, but what Chiron's asking you to do is have more self-belief in what you individually offer. But Pluto's forging a wonderful link to Uranus. So if you're prepared to change, evolve, flex, not always easy for fixed signs, around your professional situation, there's a lot to go for. As far as your finances are concerned, having Uranus and the Sun in your second house, that's not a bad thing, really. The second house, the Sun in Gemini, is about being flexible. And again, for fixed signs, important not to be too just entrenched in the way that you know. So do be open to new approaches. The planet, which is very much to do with money, Venus, is in an opposition with Pluto. Do you know your personality power and your charm, always with Venus being your ruler, always a big part of your assets, that can have a big impact on some kind of breakthrough in your professional situation for sure. And finally, as far as your relationships are concerned, well, you do have Mercury, the planet of communication, and Jupiter, the planet of fortune, in that third house. That can be about quick exchanges, but it's the link to Mars that's really impressive. Mars in your own sign, pushing you to be daring. If there is someone you like, make that move. If it doesn't work out, at least you'll know you tried. It's been a pleasure being with you, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me. All the best for these next 3 months and look forward to seeing you again soon.